Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to the vlog. I'm Runestrike, that's Azata.
Hey.
And we're going to be talking about the new 16-inch MacBook Pro that Apple dropped like a couple days ago.
Yes, Runestrike, teach me. I don't know much about laptops or computers, so tell me all the cool things. I did watch a couple reviews, so I have a basic idea of how people feel about it and a couple of things.
You do know that it is a laptop. That's good.
Mm-hmm. That's base knowledge.
Base knowledge, great. Anyways, we'll do a history lesson. The past 4 years of MacBooks have really sucked, and everyone's been trying to avoid them as much as possible. They've been sticking with like their 2015 MacBooks, like 2014 MacBooks with like the butterfly, with the scissor switch mechanism keyboard.
Right.
And they just didn't want to upgrade to that crappy laptop because it was too thin, the keyboard sucked, tons of problems with that MacBook. But in this year, this week that we are recording, they have released the new 2016 MacBook, or no, 2016, 16-inch MacBook Pro.
Yes.
And it basically addresses most, if not all, of those problems. They've replaced the keyboard with the scissor switch mechanism, which is far more reliable, and everybody loves it. They have made the computer thicker and re-engineered the entire internal cooling mechanism of it, so it cools way better. The heat sink on it is actually 30% larger than the last year's heat sink, and apparently it's not thermal throttling as bad. They made a screen bigger. They've actually, the coolest thing I thought they did, I think this was a choice they really had to make just to sell this laptop. They basically, the base graphics card in it is better than last year's max graphics card. Like the base model is like smoking the highest end you could buy last year, which is impressive for Apple products. The storage, they have doubled the base storage, so you're not paying any extra for this laptop and getting like twice the storage and twice the graphics potential stock without upgrading it or speccing it out. That is pretty unique for Apple. Apple has never done that. The old laptops used to come with 256 gigabytes of base storage. 256 gigs, that's it. You can't stick in an extra one. That's a sin. For a $2,300 computer has 256 gigs.
You'd have to go into that purchase knowing that you're going to get an external drive. You'd have to.
Yeah, you'd have to. There is no limit. So they have upgraded to 500 gigs, which ain't bad, especially with SSD storage. Yeah. And if you go to the $1,700 one, you have a terabyte of storage, you have better graphics, you have an i9 CPU. They've really, I'd say, for Mac users, they have actually nailed it with this one. They've given people what they actually wanted without making any compromise, except for the storage, in my opinion.
So, from a few videos that I watched, one was very cynical about it, actually. It was like, Apple's finally fixed stuff and made a laptop that they should have made forever ago or whatever. Or how they, like, this version is what their last few ones should have been. And then the other thing that particular video harped on was that it's still so dongle reliant.
Yes, it is very dongle reliant because it still uses just USB-C. Which kind of sucks because it's a laptop, you kind of need that extra ports just for convenience. And if you're carrying dongles around, it's not very convenient. But there are some dongles you can get. They're just one. You plug it into the ports. It has every port you'll ever need. I think it's a great step in the right direction of what they're actually listening to people. We're starting to get out of that whole stupid trend with technology of where it gets, let's make it as thin as possible. The thinner, the better. We were getting that with phones, and Samsung, look what happened to their Note 7. It exploded because they made it too thin. Now with the new iPhones and the new MacBook, they're actually taking their technology and making it thicker. The new iPhone, the iPhone 11, is actually the thickest iPhone in this new thin line that they have, and it has way better battery. It's like, if you can make something thicker and get better performance, just make it that little bit thicker. Yeah, we don't need the laptops that are paper thin. Our bags open like this. This is how big my bag opens. I don't need a laptop that thin.
Yeah, like, just go for what's practical.
Yeah, storage and memory-wise, it's like, I think Apple has lost their music-making market because The storage is just a downbreaker for producers. We need storage, man. We need some storage. On this one, I have like freaking 3 terabytes.
Mm-hmm.
I need that storage.
I have 2 terabytes on this, and yeah, I mean, I use it for videos, and I have all the samples. I have Splice. I get like 100 samples a month. Like, I can't. I'm not gonna carry around an extra like hard drive if I don't need to. I mean, sure, I'm gonna move stuff over eventually, but like if I don't need to, I'm not gonna just carry one around.
So that's what I think. I think it's a good step in the right direction, but I don't think it's really good for producers yet.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have what producers are asking for. And then someday they might. Someday it might be good enough to where they'll have enough storage in the poor things. And it won't be so much to get that 2 terabyte option. But as of right now, I probably wouldn't buy it as it is.
2 terabyte storage is an extra $800.
Yeah. If money wasn't an object, though, here's how I see it. If money wasn't an object, if I was a rich dude like Martin Garrix and I made tons of money off music production, I'd go with a MacBook, actually. Because you can spec out a MacBook storage to 8 terabytes into it. 8 terabytes. And apparently that is the most you can have in a laptop right now.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. So if money wasn't an option, I would do that. I would spec that thing out as hard as I could. Because even on a Windows computer, I think the most you can get is like a terabyte of SSD. But you also need 2 different storage drives to have more than 1 terabyte. Because it's hard to, even on Razer.com, like for some reason they top out at like 500 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Even if you make it to $3,000, and that just drives me nuts. It's like, why can't I just have a terabyte? That is insane. Like, yeah, but you can see it's like you can max everything out and it gets expensive. But if money wasn't an option, I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, if you make millions of dollars off of it, just buy it. But as a budget computer, I think Windows has just made so many strides in these past years. Like back in the day, you could see buying a MacBook because they were actually pretty revolutionary. Like, you got a laptop that was like that thin and can compete with these other laptops. The bezels were thin. The screen was amazing. It's just an amazing computer. But now it's like I look at the Windows ones and they have faster refresh rates, higher resolutions, look better, get brighter, have thinner bezels, also lighter, have better batteries, better keyboards, more storage. And I'm saying, I think Windows is caught up. Yeah, I like that. If I would upgrade to right now, I'd probably enjoy it because I like MacBooks. I like Mac. I would consider buying it if I had the terabyte option. I'd actually be like, okay, that's a solid computer. I don't want to hate on it too bad. I mean, it's a good computer. But I'm mainly nagging on Apple. They need to focus on that lower price range for producers, man. They need to focus on that.
I know it's kept coming up, but it is an actual thing to think about is price.
Yeah.
And I guess that also comes down to, is the price worth the long term? Will the computer last that long? I know MacBooks, you can't really upgrade them or anything. You can't do anything past purchasing, which can be an issue. But I guess that comes down to how well is it built.
Well, I think it's really impressive. I do want to say one great thing about it. It's very impressive. I ran some Cinebench scores of my liquid-cooled Hackintosh, my Windows laptop I'm currently talking to you on, and the new MacBook Pro 16-inch with only the hexa-core option. This is not the i9 with the 8 cores. This is what my liquid-cooled Hackintosh did. It has an Intel Core i7 6700K CPU, and its Cinebench score was 2,303. And here is my Windows laptop, which is running an i7 8700 or i7 8750H CPU. So it's quite a bit newer than my Hackintosh CPU, and it scored 2,277 score on Cinebench. And here is the new MacBook Pro 16-inch with the hexa-core CPU. It has a Cinebench score of 2,632. So it's like 300 points more than both of my computers. But it's very impressive they have a very thin laptop that can outperform my big, fat gaming laptop and my liquid-cooled Mac in a small form factor. That would be the main thing I would upgrade, is because my huge Hackintosh is big. And this thing is also big. That MacBook would outperform both of these and be super thin and light. And people like to hate on the Thunderbolt ports like I did earlier. Mm-hmm. But those essentially are like the end-all, be-all, end-all ports. They are whatever you need them to be. They're faster than anything on the market. They are it. And you can plug anything into them. I can have an external GPU. I can run a UAD audio card, which is amazing on its own. I can plug a dongle here, have two HDMI ports. I can have a Thunderbolt out. I can charge it through that port. I can have this hooked up. I can have a micro card in the same dongle, a normal card, a USB port, or 2 or 3 USB ports, all in one dongle, and have all this stuff hooked up on a Windows computer. I have one USB-C port, which means I can only hook up maybe an external GPU. I couldn't run a UAD card. Couldn't do that. I couldn't have a dongle that has all the ports I need because I only have 3 USB ports, so I have to get a USB port for that. No. Now I need an HDMI port, so I only have one of those. The USB-C would actually offer more options later on down the road than what comes on most normal Windows computers. And that's what the deal breaker is for most Windows computers for professionals, I'd say. I was looking at Asus gaming PC, the Scar 3. Epic computer. Epic computer is amazing. It does not have a Thunderbolt port. It has a standard USB-C port, but not a Thunderbolt. Which means it doesn't have that capability of being able to power an external GPU, I don't think. But the MacBook has 4 Thunderbolt ports.
That does give a lot of options.
It gives a lot of options. So for technically a professional, it would work a lot better. But as for the electronic music industry, I would say Windows is a little bit better for people with laptops just because it has so much built into it. It stands good on its own. It doesn't need to be that future expansion with those ports because you wouldn't need them because you're on the go making beats on your keyboard.
Yeah, I personally am still learning the basics about a lot of laptops and computers in general. So I'm not able to contribute too much to this conversation, but I do appreciate all your knowledge, Runestrike. Thank you for giving your take on this. I do know that this is a big thing, and it's very important to talk about. If Apple is what you use and what you like, from what I understand, this is a laptop that has its pros and cons, but is also something to actually genuinely go check out. Like, look into it, because this may actually be something that that takes your laptop to the next level, I guess. Comparative to what they had before.
Oh, definitely. A lot of people are saying that this laptop should have been what the last 4 years have been. And they also had an interview with, man, I'm starting to rant again. They had an interview with a guy, Phil Schiller, I think. He works at Apple. And from that interview, it sounded like Apple was kind of desperate to like figure out, why do people want our MacBook? Why? Because their sales are kind of going down on them. I think they're kind of desperate for, okay, what do people want? So they're starting to actually listen. They're actually starting to send these MacBooks out to reviewers, seeing what they think of them, working with YouTubers on it, like tech YouTubers like MKBHD and stuff like that. To figure out, okay, what do you guys want? We made a mistake. How can we fix it? All
right. I think that's a good place to call it. What do you guys think? Let us know your thoughts on the current or newly released Apple 16-inch. If you guys have any hot takes on it, let us know down below. Let's get a conversation going about this.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, guys.
Subscribe and have a nice day.
Yeah, subscribe button, hit that bell icon, leave a like and a comment, and we will see you guys next time.